be upon you. Today, inshallah, we're gonna start a new unit, Unit 3, and the reading text title is The White Giraffe. And as we know, giraffe is an animal with a long neck. And the text type of this story, it is a story from Africa. So it is a reading text, which is a story from Africa. And the writer of this story is called Lauren John. This story is not a full story. It's a short part of a series of stories that are written by Lauren John. So if you are interested to know what will happen at the end of this story, you can get the story online or read a summary about this story. In this book, we're not gonna take the full part of the story. We're gonna take a short part of the story. So we're not gonna know what will happen at the end of the story. إن شاء الله اليوم رح نبلش وحدة جديدة. الوحدة هاي عنوانها The White Giraffe. عنوان الدرس فيها The White Giraffe. وجرف هو معناه الزرافة، اللي الحيوان اللي رقبته طويلة. وحكينا إنه التكست تايب، نوع القصة أو الجنرا تبع القصة اللي هي A Story from Africa، يعني قصة من أفريقيا. وهي كاتبة هاي القصة اسمها لورين جون. وحكيت انه هاي القصة مش قصة كاملة في كتابنا، وانما هي جزء من سلسلة قصصية اسمها الوايت جيراف. نقدر نحصل على هاي السلسلة القصصية اذا كنتوا كطلاب مهتمين تعرفوا شو نهاية القصة من الانترنت ككتاب، او تقرأوا السمري تبعتها، الملخص تبعها. تمام الحكي هذا لانه احنا في الكتاب ما راح نعرف ايش صار باخر هاي القصة. Before we start explaining the lesson, we have to go through some new words. We have to go through some new words on page 28 students box. بدنا نستخدم بعض الكلمات، نتعرف على بعض الكلمات موجودة في صفحة 28 في student book. The first word is wildlife reserve. And it means a place where we keep wild animals. It's a big place where we keep animals from forest or the jungle, اللي هي المحمية البرية. It's like a big zoo. And the word tracks, here it's a noun, which means marks that are left by people or animals, اللي هي الأثار اللي خلفها الناس أو الحيوانات. Also here the word glimpse, it's a verb, to look quickly, to have a quick look at something, اللي هي اللمحة السريعة. And the word perfume sweet, it's a sweet smell or a scent اللي هي العطر الحلو، الريحة الجميلة أو العطرة. padlock اللي هو القفل. it means a lock hanging by a hook. القفل بيكون بآخره زي الخطاف، الهوك. And the word chain, it's a series of metal links used for securing objects. سلسلة من المعدن مستخدمة حتى تأمن على أشياء معينة اللي هي السلسلة. And stifle, it's a verb, stifle, to stop something، يوقف شيء معين. The word violently, it's an adverb، ظرف, and it means sharply or aggressively، بشدة أو بحدة هيك يعني بعنف. And the word waterbuck, it's an antelope or an elk, big deer. اوكي اللي هو the animal with horns، الحيوان اللي له قرون، اللي هو الغزال الكبير او بنسميه الظبي. And the word smack, it's a verb, it means to slap or to hit something، اللي هو الصفع او ضرب شيء معين. And the word rib cage, which means a bony frame around the chest، اللي هو القفص الصدري. chest here means اللي هو الصدر. So rib cage هو القفص الصدري. Okay, now I'm going to read each paragraph, then explain it in English, and after that I will comment on it in Arabic. هقرأ كل فقرة واشرحها بالإنجليزي، بعدين أعلق عليها باللغة العربية. Okay, now this is the first paragraph. Martin Allen's parents have died and she has traveled from England to Africa to live with her grandmother who owns a wildlife reserve. Tendai, a Zolo tracker who works for her grandmother, has told her of a rare white giraffe believed to be in the reserve. He has found its tracks and he has followed them, but he has never been lucky enough to see the animal itself. One rainy night, Martin glimpses the giraffe from her bedroom window. She decides to go into the reserve to find it. Now, I'm going to explain paragraph number 1. So the first paragraph, it is an introduction about a girl whose name is Martin Allens, and Martin here has no parents. She is living with her grandmother who owns a wildlife reserve in Africa. Also, there is a man whose name is Tendai, and he works for her grandmother. He works as a Zolo tracker, and Zolo here means a tribe from South Africa. Tracker means that Tendai follows the tracks or the marks of animals. So he is tracks follower. He chases and searches after animals. Tendai told Martin that he has seen the tracks or the marks of a white giraffe, but unfortunately has not been lucky enough to see the giraffe itself. After that, in one rainy night, Martin glimpses the white giraffe from her bedroom windows, and she determines to go out and chase after the white giraffe in the reserve by herself. اوكي، هلا هاي الفقرة تعطينا مقدمة عن الشخصية الرئيسية اللي هي المارتن، اسمها مارتن ألين، وهي بنت يتيمة، امها وابوها متوفين وعايشة مع ستها او جدتها في اللي بتملك هاي الوايلد لايف ريزيرف، اللي هي بتكون ستها مالكة المحمية البرية. وفي شخص تاني في القصة اسمه تنداي. تنداي is a zolo tracker. هو عبارة عن تراكر، ايش حكينا معناه؟ اللي هو اللي بيتبع اثار الحيوانات. animals trackers tracks follower، يعني اللي بيتبع اثار الحيوانات. اذا مثلا كان حيوان ضايع في المحمية او في مكان مش مناسب لإله، او مثلا اصيب هذا الحيوان، فهو بيتبع هذا الحيوان. فاهم الحكي هذا؟ حتى يعرف ايش صار فيه. وزولو حكينا it's a tribe from South Africa. زولو هي قبيلة من افريقيا الجنوبية. شو حكى تنداي لمارتن؟ حكى لها انه he believes that there is a white giraffe. بيآمن انه هناك في حيوان اسمه الوايت جيراف. اوكي، هو ما شافه. he hasn't seen it yet, but he has seen the tracks of it. شاف اثاره مش شكله، يعني مش الحيوان نفسه. تمام حكي هذا. وفي يوم من الايام، في ليلة ماطرة in one rainy night, she glimpses the giraffe. شو يعني glimpses؟ يعني لمحت. she had a quick look at this giraffe from her bedroom window، من شباك غرفتها. and then she decided or she determines قررت to go and find this white giraffe. انها تروح على الريزيرف المحمية وتلاقي الوايت جيراف، يعني تكتشف الوايت giraffe. Now let's go to the second paragraph. I'm going to read now the second paragraph, then explain it. The air was perfume sweet. The air was perfume sweet with the scent of fallen mangoes and gardenia blossoms. Martin set off blindly through the dripping trees in the general direction of the game park gate. The one useful thing she had overheard during her investigations the previous week had been Tendai telling her grandmother the new code for the padlock. She had made a point of committing the numbers to memory. When her hands touched the cold metal gate, she felt for the heavy chain that bound it and the lock that secured it. Only then did she switch on her torch and enter the numbers on the wet dial. The padlock clicked open. Martin stared down at it, unable to believe that it had been so easy. She realized that she had been secretly hoping all along that something would happen to prevent her from going into the game reserve. She glanced over her shoulder once more. The house stood in darkness. Whatever happened now, there was no turning back. Now I will explain this paragraph. The second paragraph describes how the air was full of a sweet smell like a perfume scent that comes from the mangoes and gardenias blossoms. And blossoms here means flowers, So the smell of the sweet perfume was the smell of the mango trees and the gardenias plants flowers. Then it says that Martin continues her adventure blindly through the dripping trees or wet trees in general direction of the game park gate. So she wanted to get into the reserve through the game park gate. Gate here means a big door, the big door of the game park where children play in this reserve. Martin was lucky to remember the code of the padlock that opens or unlocks the gate of the game park because she had overheard Tendai telling her grandmother the numbers of the dial. What is the dial? Dial means a face of a clock, which it is a machine that we insert the number in. So she entered the number in the dial through using a torch, and torch here is the flashlight in order to see. Actually, she hoped secretly not to open the gate so that she couldn't continue into this adventure, and when she opened it, she glanced or had a quick look at the house which stood in the darkness. She decided that she would never turn back from this mission. هون بتحكي الفقرة هاي إنه لما قربت تدخل الريزيرف كان في ريحة عطرة لأشجار المانجو ونبات أو أزهار الجاردينيا، وهنا كانت مارتن ماشية blindly. She set off blind. Set off here means انطلقت. Start her journey blindly. Why? Because it was pitch dark. كان كتير عتمة. It's very dark through the dripping trees. Dripping here again means wet trees, يعني مبلل. In the general direction of the game park gate. So she's going to the reserve through the game park gate. هتروح على المحمية تدخل جواها عن طريق بوابة الألعاب تبعت الأطفال. في كل محمية بيكون في هيك مكان بيلعبوا فيه الأطفال. الاشي المهم أو المفيد اللي صار معها إنه قبل أسبوع in the previous week she had overheard the code of the padlock dial. سمعت تنداي بحكي للجدة الكود اللي هي الباسورد زي الشفرة تبعت الدايل. الدايل again اللي هي وجه الساعة اللي بيكون هيك مثبت على القفل. تمام، في قفل وفي سلسلة وفي هيك دايل بحطوا فيها الأرقام وبصير إيش يفتح الباب. أوكي. فهي كانت حافظة. لما أنا أحكي she had made a point of committing the numbers to memory، معناها هاي الجملة she memorized the numbers of the dial، يعني هي حفظت أرقام الدايل. فبلشت تفتح فيها وفتح معها. she hoped secretly that the gate would not open. تمنت بالسر إنه البوابة ما تنفتح فترجع على الدار وخلص وتكمل نومتها، بس لا، البوابة انفتحت. لما انفتحت البوابة طلعت هيك ورا، شافت البيت بالعتمة بمكان معتبر كتير، وخلص قررت إنه هي لازم تمشي في هاي الرحلة أو هاي المغامرة حتى تتعرف على الوايت جيراف، وأنا ما رح ترجع إطلاقا للدار. Let's now continue reading the lesson. Now, paragraph 3. I'm going to read paragraph 3, then explain it later on. Martin stepped through the gate and stifled a cry of terror. Two red eyes glared at her, the bushes shook violently, and a water buck sprang up so close to Martin that its fur actually brushed her. With a shake of its horns, it pounded away into the blackness. Okay. Now let's explain paragraph 3. We said that after she had opened the gate, she entered the reserve and it was pitch dark. The reserve was very dark and she started her mission blindly without seeing anything. When she had got into the reserve, she stifled or stopped a cry, and a cry here means a scream of terror, because there were red eyes glaring or looking at her through the bushes, and something was moving violently or sharply in the bushes. After that, a wood buck, which means an antelope or an elk or a big deer, appeared in front of her closely, with his fur brushing her in the water buck. Then, sorry, with his fur brushing her. Then the water buck shook its horns and moved away into the blackness. Okay, let's explain this in Arabic now. It says that لما مارتن دخل جوا المحمية بعد ما فتحت الباب كتمت. هون لما احكي stifle يعني to stop something، يعني in Arabic يكتم. كتمت a cry, and cry here means a scream of terror. صرخة of terror. شنو terror؟ يعني رعب. Why? Because there were two red eyes glared at her. في كان عيون هيك حمراء قاعدة بتبحلق فيها. Glare he means to look، هي البحلقة. The bushes اللي هي شجيرات shook violently، يعني بلشت تتحرك بعنف. And a water buck sprang up. Sprang up here means appeared, and water buck as we said means ظبي. Sprang up so close to Martin، ظهر هيك كتير قريب لمارتن، that its fur هو الفرو تبعه actually brushed hair، يعني زي انه مشط ايديها، قرب منها كتير، يعني هيك على وجهها. with a shake of its horns، وحرك الهورنز هي القرون. it bounded away into the blackness، هيك نزل شوي راسه لتحت بعدين راح على العتمة. blackness هون يعني الظلام. okay, now let's go to the last paragraph. Martin's heart smacked wildly against her ribcage. She tried to imagine what Tendai would do in a similar situation. Not that he was likely to be in a similar situation, but if he were, she was sure that everything would be about staying calm and thinking clearly. Focus, she thought. I have to focus. I can do this. More than anything in the world, she wanted to find the white giraffe. Why? She wasn't sure. She just knew she had to do it. Okay, now let's explain this in English. The last paragraph says that after the incident of the water buck, Martin's heart smacked or slapped or hit against her ribcage wildly. The ribcage again here means the bony part that surrounds the chest of the human body. Martin here imagined what Tendai would do if he was in her shoes or situation, and she thought he would stay calm. After that, at the end, Martin wanted badly to find the white giraffe. هون بعد ما هذا الموقف صار مع اللي هو الووتر باك، موقف الووتر باك والظبي، صار قلبها ايش؟ Martin's heart smacked wildly against her rib cage، يعني قلبها بلش يدق او يضرب الريب كيج بقوة بعنف. شو الريب كيج again؟ اللي هي القفص الصدري. وبلشت تتخيل انه لو كان تنداي مكانها شو كان سوى. ففكرت انه لو كان مكانها كان ضل calm. شو يعني calm؟ quiet يعني هادئ ثابت مكانه، يعني he would do as the same thing as she did، يعني هيعمل الاشي اللي هي سوته بالضبط. she stifled a cry، هي كتمت صرخة وضلت هادية ما عملت اشي. after this incident she gathered her courage، جمعت قوتها وحكت I have to continue this adventure، بدي ايش اكمل هاي الادفنشر. why؟ ما بتعرف ليش، بس هي خلص صار عندها الرغبة. she was curious to know what is the white giraffe، كانت عندها فضولية انها تعرف شو هو الوايت giraffe. that's it. إن شاء الله next time we're gonna continue the lesson. That's it. Thank you.